Hello, everybody.
Hello. How are we all doing?
Yeah, we are live with another episode of Chain Wrestling.
Have we not got a little intro video this week?
I mean, you want me to put it? Thought we'd freestyle it, but I can always put it.
Well, it threw me. It threw me. I didn't know who... I was like, we're live now.
I forgot to click on it, but here we go. Sorry, guys.
With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
Bloody good start by me. Bloody good start by me.
We are so good at this podcasting, live video, streaming, lark, ain't we?
No, we're terrible at it. We absolutely wing it every week.
The utmost. I was even on time today, mate.
Barely on time.
Barely on time. Okay. I just got a message in the chat already from my wife saying I'm very bright. So should I do that? Is that? Oh no.
Oh Jesus Christ! It's a Halloween episode already.
That's not. I don't know. Basically, I've got a new light and I don't know how to work it. So, is that better? That's a bit better, isn't it? Yeah,
it's a little bit better. I mean, the dark one was cool.
The dark one was cool. So I just turn it off again so you can't see me. Oh, hang on.
Green.
There we go. This is going to make brilliant audio when the podcast comes out later in the week, isn't it?
Jesus Christ, we're already getting grief in the chat, sir. Brat sign, Hatless Mags. Holy shit, Hatless Mags loud. Wow, sir, you are Brat. Yes, finally time for that aero bar been saving. We absolutely love our audience. You guys are the absolute best.
To be fair,
Hatless Mags again. I'm never gonna not wear a hat again.
To be fair, when we sort of met up in the, what do they call it? Like it says studio. Doesn't it? Yeah. Beforehand, before we go live, I said to you, I can see the top of your head, and it's weird. Mm-hmm. You know, but okay, looks all right, mate. You got more hair than I imagined.
Oh well, thanks. I mean, we've spoke many times about how I had it in the Braun Strowman style, really, really long. But
yeah, but thanks for that. You said you had a long ponytail. I didn't imagine you had anything on top.
Do you think it started at the back? Like Paul Heyman? Do you think I was a Paul Heyman ponytail?
Well, I don't know what I thought. I didn't expect to see that, that's all.
Jesus Christ, I've never been so insulted in my life, and we are 2 minutes 47 seconds into recording. Brilliant.
Well, stick around, mate. Stick around. We'll see what we can do about that. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling with Mags and Cy, a Radio Techers production. I am Cy, and joining me, as always, is the corporate ministry to my ignoring my responsibilities, the triple threat to my crippling debt. Seriously, so many. I'm skint. A podcaster who very much like Shane McMahon at No Mercy 1999 loves a freeway. The podfather himself, the Prince of Padium, Mr. Mags. How are we doing, sir?
I am doing brilliant. And firstly, kablam, obviously, I'll get that in there whilst we can. Copyrighted. Yeah, I'm doing really, really well. Been a fun week. I was on an episode of Unbooking the Territory with our good friends Rob and Dan, and they got me a cheeky little intro video, which I don't want to spoil the show because it's not been released yet, but I was absolutely blown away by it. They got someone to do an intro for me, and it was absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'm still flying high off that, and we also recorded another special episode for Unbooking the Territory. They're covering the simulcast from when Raw and WCW went head to head, and Vince McMahon was on both shows. Me and James from that 90s Wrestling Pod covered the WWF show, and Rob and Dan are covering the WCW show. So it's cool to be involved in that. So it's been a fun old week.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Busy as always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine's been okay. Yeah, it's been all right, mate. It's been all right, working. That's about it, really.
Brilliant.
Didn't really do much the weekend, but I'm happy enough, bud. I'm happy enough. Just look forward to our Monday nights with our wonderful people in the chat, Our fantastic listeners, stroke viewers, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just so blown away. I've been saying it over and over again on the podcast that I've been a part of. How amazing our friends and followers and just people in the chat just bring us loads and loads of fun and joy on Mondays. So let's quickly go through some of the people who were here. Dan Griffin. The aforementioned Dan Griffin, as part of the Unbooking the Territory podcast. He says, evening. Slags off the fact I've got no hat on. You're good lady. Wow, you're bright.
Yeah, I think I've adjusted that okay now. And I think it's a bit better, isn't it?
Maidstone's very own Scottish Danny here in the chat as well. Graham from Good Cop Bad Cop, thank you for showing up, sir, even though you have come to abuse. Charlie in the chat as well. Hello, Charlie. So yeah, we've got plenty of fun in chat. The Dark Light, Anya says, is for something for chain wrestling after dark. Look, listen, that's coming. That's going to be a thing. It's got to be. Charlie saying they had a whole mint arrow yesterday, I think it was. Well, I'm sorry, Charlie, but we can't be friends anymore, unfortunately. So sorry to spoil that for you. Yeah, and already the chatter are mingling between themselves. Sharon saying, I didn't go to watch his daughter play football. She scored twice, like the last time that he missed it.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oof.
I'm a jinx. I think when I'm not there, Liv does well. The couple of the games I've gone to, she's lost or she hasn't played particularly well herself.
So you're bad luck?
Yeah, looks that way, mate.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks like that way, yeah, with the light and the shiny forehead. It does look that way.
It's not shiny now. Stop it. All right, mate, come on. So where do we want to go first, Magsy? Should we go to Twitter or shall we spill the beans on our plans for our Halloween episode?
Yeah, I think we should do that. I think before we go into the non-wrestling topic and the match, let's tell the good people in the chat and the good people listening back in the audio what our plans for the upcoming Halloween episode is.
Yeah, sure. It's not next week; it's the week after, isn't it? The 1st of November, I believe, is the Monday we're broadcasting that weekend.
The day after Halloween, essentially.
Yeah, okay. So what we were going to be looking at doing, what we're thinking of doing, is having a proper big special Halloween episode. And the matches that Magsy and I are going to select are going to be of a creepy, spooky variety, or as close as you can get with professional wrestling. We're going to have a little bit of a fancy dress effort from Magsy and myself as well. But this is where it gets interesting for you people out there. Yes. We want to make this a really big episode. We want as many people tuning in live as we can possibly get, as many people involved as we can possibly get. And the way we're going to do that is this aforementioned chain wrestling merch that people seem quite keen on getting if we ever get to creating any. Again, I'm the hold up. I'm the one who's delaying it all because I'm just freaking lazy and useless, really, is the way it is. But rather than just chain wrestling merch, how would people out there like a piece of chain wrestling merch that is very unique and of literally of their own, of
yes.
One of a
made.
Kind. That's the term I was looking for. Why could I think of that? One of a kind.
I have no idea.
I was on the tip of my
tongue. It's the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah, there we go. So what we're going to be doing is effectively we want everyone to be involved in a big chain wrestling style Halloween fancy dress effort. Okay, so we can have people live in the chat letting us know what they're wearing, how they're dressed up and so on, tweeting into the show and so on. But the best way of doing it would be to get a picture of yourself, and you got 2 weeks to build up for this. You got 2 weeks to sort yourself out and get yourself ready. It's 2 weeks tonight we're doing it, Halloween, or the day after Halloween. Send a picture of yourself in your best fancy dress. It could be wrestler orientated, Halloween orientated, monsters, whatever. Send it in, and Magsy and I live on the show. We'll go through them. We'll talk about them. We'll have a laugh and a joke, and just our usual or normal chain wrestling nonsense, I guess. And then by the end of the show, we would have picked a winner. Now the winner will receive some chain wrestling goodies. For example, chain wrestling t-shirt, as you can see there, that Magsy brilliantly has brought up in a rather hastily made graphic there. It won't be the little as blocky around it. It'll be done better than that when it's actually made by my good lady. But that one there, and obviously it says there Halloween Champion 2021, and there will be literally that one made, one of a kind. No one else will have this. Not even Mags or I will have something like this, because we're not eligible for the competition, regardless of how great our fancy dress may be.
Even though I feel that I've gone over and beyond for this competition.
Is that right?
I think my get up will be badass. I think it'll be badass.
Well, good job for all the people in the chat and listening that you can enter then, Magsy. Eh? But yeah, you're going to have that t-shirt is one, and we'll take your size the night of the show or the day after or whatever and get it made to the proper size for yourselves. Other bits and bobs as well that we've got. We've had kind of the prototypes, I guess, made for us to look at. So you've got a few badges, you've got pop sockets, you've got all the chain wrestling bits and bobs you can imagine. More will be unveiled coming up towards the show. But yeah, there you go. That's what we're thinking of doing, and it's going to be hopefully just be a good laugh, a good bit of fun, and we'll have a typical a sort of Halloween type non-wrestling topic to tie in with it being that time of year. Halloween type spooky matches to discuss, the fancy dress competition. But the biggest thing we've got is we've got 2 weeks before that show, so it's really important that everyone out there, when we start sharing these details, putting these details out there and so on, that you get involved, retweet it, share it, get as many people involved as well in the live show on the Monday evening. To enter the competition, as I said, we need a DM sent to Magsy, not the chain wrestling account, but we'll put all this out there on Twitter and so on. A DM to Magsy of yourselves in your fancy dress as your entry. And as well as that, you also need to be following the Chain Wrestling Twitter account, the Radio Techers Twitter account, and subscribed to the Radio Techers YouTube account. Otherwise, you can send us the most fantastic picture ever. We ain't going to count it.
You won't win. Yeah, exactly. You can't win.
So, but all those details are going to be available again. You know, we'll run through them again next week. So you've got 7 more days for the show. We'll bring it all out online as well. So let yourselves run wild. Dress up how you like. Wrestlers, monsters, movie villains, anything you want to do. Okay, anything you want to do. I hope that I would say I hope. I know we're going to get some brilliant interactions with this, Magsy, because our group of listeners, again, we still need a name for this, don't we? What we refer to them as.
Our army.
Our chain wrestling army.
Chain gang. I thought we agreed on chain gang.
Yeah, but don't that mean something a bit dodgy, like going
like
back?
Prisoners. Prisoners like clean up the sides of motorways and things.
Yeah,
like that.
But I know that they're not going to let us down, because they never do. No. They never do. So that's the plan. So you want chain wrestling merch? Here's a chance to get some before anybody else. And you want chain wrestling? Yeah,
chain wrestling merch. Yes.
And no one else will have this. Even if this turns into an annual thing and we do a Halloween competition every year, yours is the first. So, okay, so get thinking, get planning. You've got 2 weeks to sort yourselves out with your fancy dress. Get them into us. Join us for the live, as most of you will do. But let's try and get as many people involved as we possibly can. Let's really push the show, the Radio Techers network on YouTube and Twitch and so on. Let's get as many people involved as we can. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. It should be a hell of a lot of fun. Love to see what kind of creative costumes and gear that you come up with. It'll be entertaining, to say the least.
I'm coming in drag, mate.
So dressed as normal, then?
Yeah, pretty much. You can't see the skirt I'm wearing underneath the WrestleMania 12 t-shirt.
He's very much a headbanger. He's a headbanger thrasher.
Do you know what? I spoke about this. I think it might have been talking with you actually for a show, or maybe it was David Eaton when we did SJP. I can't remember, but we looked at a headbangers match, and I'm a rocker. I'm a metalhead. I'm like 40 years of age. I've been into this music for 30 plus years. I can safely say I have never dressed with big fake fuzzy boobs on. I don't know any metalheads or rockers that do. Why is this what Vince McMahon thinks a heavy metal fan looks like?
Because any kind of time he has a gimmick that he has no clue about, he just goes off what the talent says. I mean, look at Razor Ramon. it was clearly ripped off of Tony Montana
Yeah.
from Scarface, but Vince didn't have a clue. So he's very easily led. He's certainly in his own little bubble. So if someone said, "Yeah, headbangers wear skirts," he'll go, "I love it. Make sure they wear makeup as well."
Yeah, exactly. And they just, I don't know, skirts, fake boobs, and all sorts for the headbangers. No.
And it's not the only time fake boobs are going to be mentioned on this very show. Believe you me.
Hooray! Good, clean family fun. Magsy, should we have a quick look in the chat before we get on to our non-wrestling topic this week? Is there anything there for us?
Yes, we shall. Graham from Good Cop Bad Cop is saying that you are officially the new Tekker's curse. I think that's mean. Dan is looking to promote a zombie lumberjack match. Yeah, I mean, that's a stretch, Dan. But he also said we're raffling off my ponytail. I mean, that would have been actually a cool idea. But it's lost to the ether now, unfortunately. Hopefully, I'll be able to grow one back though soon. Scottish Daddy says Scotty Too Hotty was in that zombie lumberjack match, so I rate it 18 stars. So yeah, any match involving Scotty Too Hotty is automatically plus 5 stars. Dan Griffin says taking off my hat doesn't count as a fancy dress, and Sharon says she's throwing her hat in, but she's going as Sharon Carrera. I've heard Korea. Apologies. I've heard that I'm the best at pretending to be her. Well, I don't know if the best. I've heard that Sad does a really good impression of her.
That's my wife's author name, that is, mate.
Ben S saying I have hair. What is this? What is? I've got.
Do you know what? Actually, really, honestly, right?
Did you all think I was bold?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I thought you were bold, but I didn't expect that. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not saying, I didn't expect that. But it's like, I don't know. You're not as grey as I thought you were going to be.
You arseholes.
That's a good thing, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the grey part, you dig yourself out of a hole there, but just thinking that I would, be naturally bold or have like a Friar Tuck style hair.
Yeah, maybe that is kind of what was in my head. I don't know. Have you had it today or something? So you're just showing it off. Do you feel like all fresh?
No, I went for a phase of wearing hats, and I thought I'll just not wear hats for a while. I'll be bloody wearing a hat next week. Just don't.
No, mate, honestly, you can put it off.
You have hurt my feelings, people.
You can put it off with no hat thing. It's fine. Tanner, on the other hand, if he's out there, Tanner, he cannot pull off a no hat. That's weird. I don't like seeing Tanner without a hat on. It is strange.
It is, especially that sad parting thing he attempts to do, and then the whole kind of Amish beard.
Yeah, Amish Tanner.
Yeah, Dan saying I didn't think you were thinning at least, and I was expecting to come over. I'm not fucking Rabsy Nesbitt from. Jesus Christ, you evil, evil people. Graham in the chat, if you don't do that already, you're a fucking idiot. Easiest qualifying requirements ever. Exactly. So take a photo of yourself in your Halloween garb, and you potentially could win once in a lifetime unique one of a kind t-shirt.
Yep.
And
Liam, other bits and bobs.
And other bits and bobs. I mean, it's worth it just for that.
Bits and bobs.
Yes, exactly. Liam saying chain gang means a group of convicts chained together whilst working outside of the prison. So it sounds like you guys, pretty much. And then last for a while, Anya saying, Dad, please let me do your makeup. I have some £50. I mean, that's a flex there, Anya. Oh, I've got some £50 eyeshadow palettes.
Yeah,
I would love to see you with eyeshadow, to be fair.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm wearing some now. That was weird then, because I'm trying to close my one eye to show you, but where on the screen it's reversed, that completely messed my head up, and I can't do it.
You try to do the Rock's eyebrow with both eyebrows.
I don't know what I'm trying to do. That really messed my head up then. It's like I was controlling the wrong eye. I couldn't.
I'll just quickly throw these three in as well. Dan called me Paddium Rab. Listen, I am not from Paddium. We've established
Prince
this.
of Paddium. As the intro this week said.
Anya, what if me and my dog dress up? Then the dog has to have the dog wins the shirt, because dogs are always better at dressing up than humans.
Yeah, so measure your dog, send in what size it is if you win. So we don't want it to be oversized for the dogs. That'd be dangerous.
Mag send Si a hat. Do you know? I should send you a hat. So you
send me a hat.
Yeah, just wear a hat all the time.
See, I can't. It's weird. I get too hot.
Shave your hair off. Go bald.
Shave my hair off. I'm not gonna shave my head off. I'm not gonna shave my hair off. My hair's my best feature, mate. I've not got a personality or anything like that.
Just long hair.
I just depend on the hair. Shall we get to Twitter then, Magsy mate, and have a little look at what people have been sending us this week for our non-wrestling topic?
Let's do it.
Okie doke. This was your suggestion this week, Magsy, wasn't it, for the non-wrestling topic?
Yeah, I mean, for context, Sa comes up with some really cool ideas for non-wrestling topics. But every so often, I'll just throw out one, and Sa will reply with, "That is fucking brilliant." I mean, so I am partly useful to this show. I thought we go with brand loyalty. Some brands, whether it is food and drink or clothing or entertainment, whatever kind of brands that you are fiercely loyal to, even if you get grief for it or people don't agree with you. What kind of companies would you always look out to buy or look out to support? I thought I'll go with brand loyalty.
Yeah, and it was something decided upon very close to last week's show actually finishing, wasn't it? So it was great because that's the most prepared we've been ever, I think.
A week prepared. It's normally, what are we doing tonight?
Yeah. Well, is this the plan? I don't know. So yeah, I mean, the couple of pictures I put up on the Twitter, I suppose, are some that stood out to me, I suppose, as brand quarrels, I guess. Pepsi and Coke is one that's quite synonymous, isn't it? Burger King, McDonald's, and so on. But we're looking at electronics, mobile phones, clothing brands, anything at all that you either absolutely loved or absolutely hated. And we had a few good responses, Maxie, didn't we? People don't let us down, do they? People never let us down.
I know. It'll be interesting that one time we put a topic out and nobody replies. How we will fill for time that day. That'll maybe the shortest episode of Chain Wrestling Live ever. But yeah, you guys.
I'll start singing. We can fill time with me singing.
Never ever let us down, people.
Metallica again, like last week. Yeah.
I think that may be the only line from a Metallica song that you actually know.
Yeah, it is.
No, the you guys never ever let us down. It's absolutely amazing that you're always there with some really cool answers. So we always appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely, 100% agree, Magsy. 100% agree. We will start with good friend of the show, Steve-O, at Total Steve-O on Twitter. He says he works for a large retailer, and because of the discount, he only buys their clothing line. He does like an Adidas grey jumper, though, but has to be, and he's written this in big, he's very, very, very certain about this. It has to be a small logo only and the stripes on the arms only. Anything else, nothing else. Forget it, he says. So, okay. Steve feels very strongly about his Adidas jumper there.
Yeah, I mean, his wardrobe must just be packed full of one color of jersey. It's interesting.
Dan Griffin at Dan Griffin 21 on Twitter. Good friend of the show. I will always drink Pepsi Max over any other available soft drink. It was the only option available at college, and just kind of stuck with him. I like Pepsi Max, mate. That's good for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge drinker of fizzy pops or sodas, but I do like Pepsi Max. I'm not a fan of ones with sugar in because they just taste so sickly sweet. So I'd always go with a non-sugar variety. But Pepsi Max is certainly one that I will go to. I like the cherry one best, I think.
Oh, I like the raspberry one. That's good.
Good pick.
Dan also continues, I refuse to read or consume anything produced by The Sun because he's a Liverpool fan and fuck The Sun. Yeah, I can get on board with that.
I don't think it's even just Liverpool fans. I think it's the majority of the British public in general. I would never, ever, ever buy The Sun. So that's a good shout.
Yeah, fair enough. Especially now page 3's gone. There's no point, is there?
I mean, not because of the horrific stuff that they've done to celebrities and the horrible stories that they've printed and the blaming of victims in terrible football-based charities. It's because they don't get the Norks out on page 3 anymore. Brilliant.
You got to stand up for what you believe in, Max. All right.
Free the sun too.
Yeah. We have a bit more here from Steve-O as well, saying he doesn't hate KFC, but he really doesn't like it. And he hadn't had a KFC for about several years. Got a family bucket about a year ago. Waste of money, a con, never again. Now, if I was to choose, if I'm in town, and well, first of all, if I'm in town, I'm not with the wife because Sharon doesn't like KFC. If I'm in town, like just say with the girls or whatever, KFC is my go-to. Above Burger Star, Burger King, McDonald's. That's my go-to.
Burger Star.
Burger Star? Do you not have Burger Star? Is Burger Star just for Gloucester then?
Yeah, I think it may be like a local one.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, Burger Star is like there's a place that does burgers, isn't it?
I mean, I guess that part. I just never heard of the company. That's all.
Yeah, no, they're banging. Do you know? I don't even anyone in the chat actually. So I'm looking at sort of Sharon, Anya, and so on. Burger Star used to be down Westgate Street. Is it still there, or is this one of these places that I remember from 15 years ago and it's not existed in like a decade or something? You know. Let me know. What about you, Max? If you were to grab yourself a burger or something to eat or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, McDonald's, no, absolutely just a dislike. Pretty much everything from McDonald's apart from the sausage and egg McMuffins. They're not too bad. But I don't like the meat from McDonald's. It just feels so processed.
Yeah.
That it's not, you don't even need to chew it. It'll just like dissolve. Burger King, I don't mind. The bacon double cheeseburgers are absolutely banging. But yeah, I think I'd go with you if there's a choice to make. I'd go KFC for Zinger burgers. They're the truth.
Yeah, Zinger burgers.
Get a hash brown on top, Zinger Tower burger. Oh yes, nom.
The kids like the little popcorn chicken things.
Yeah, they're all right. I like them when they do the spicier ones, like you get like 6 or 7 of them in like a tub and they all coated in a load of spicy sauce. They're nice.
Okay, it's funny, isn't it? It doesn't matter what topic we're on, we always end up coming back talking about food. Always, every single week.
It's almost like we strong arm it with the way we lead with the non-wrestling topics.
Steve-O also continues. And it's quite funny, really, because when you said about brand loyalty, Magsy, for the thing, my mind straight away went to people on Twitter arguing about wrestling, because you get the idiots on Twitter, don't you, who bicker about AEW, WWE, and you know, if you like wrestling, you like wrestling. Just watch what you like, ignore what you don't, and let everyone else carry on. But Steve-O chimes in here. He says, to be honest, WWE he has loyalty to. As much as he wants to support AEW, it's just not accessible enough for him. It says, don't get me wrong, I don't watch current WWE, but as stated, Cy, in your recent podcast, can't deny McMahon is the most successful wrestling promoter of all time. Their pay-per-views are still top-notch now. I think there's been a few wobbly ones recently, but on the whole, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll always say that whilst I don't watch the weekly product at all, in terms of like Raw and SmackDown, it's very rare for me that a pay-per-view misses the mark. I think they've had a real good run of having top draw pay-per-views. Like I said, there have been ropey ones, but I think more often than not, the pay-per-views are fun. The matches are given enough time. So yeah, I always enjoy watching the pay-per-views. And Steve-O kind of like speaks for the majority of wrestling fans there, I think, because as much as we think our little community on wrestling Twitter is the voice of everybody, it's not. It really, really isn't. We are a niche corner of a very niche market, and the majority of wrestling fans are WWE fans. It's simple and clear as that. There was an article that was produced today, and it talks about the the top 50 most saleable entities in sport. So that's companies that you would try and align yourself with if you wanted to do promotion.
Okay.
And the only wrestling company involved in that is WWE. They actually went up one place to number 20 from 21. They're actually more saleable than the NFL, than the NHL. They're on par with the Premier League, and it's only the massive sports franchises and entities that are beating stuff like Man United, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Champions League. They're even beating the likes of the Boston Red Sox and the LA Lakers. So yeah, they're a huge conglomerate, and there's no other wrestling company that comes absolutely anywhere near close to them. And I've seen a lot of arguments recently on Twitter about the ratings, then the demos, and now we're talking about the fast national releases and stuff like that. And whilst companies may get close in them demographics, in terms of monetary value, nobody touches WWE.
No.
They don't have the reach. They don't have the diversity of WWE. So, he's right. A lot of people are brand loyal to WWE come hell or high water.
I totally agree. And that's the way they try and sell the product now as well, isn't it? They sell it as WWE as opposed to come and see Steve Austin, come and see The Rock. It's come and see WWE. And it's all these people talking about Tony Khan, AEW, going to run Vince out of business and all this sort of stuff. It's just so laughable because these people watch a good episode of Dynamite, and that's my show. AEW is my company. I love AEW. But people watch an episode of Dynamite and think that was the best wrestling show I've seen on television in years. They're going to put WWE out of business. It ain't about that. That's not how it works. From a business standpoint, that's not how it works.
The thing is, if AEW did get to the point where they ran WWE out of business, AEW would suffer because they're running wrestling fans out of the business. If WWE go, a huge market of potential wrestling fans will go with them. It's as simple and clear as that. There are huge markets in India and Asia and all over the world, Australia, New Zealand, markets that AEW are not able to get even the sniff of a foothold in. They'll go by the wayside. So whilst I don't really agree with the posturing and some of the stuff that Tony Khan has said over the last few days has been frankly ridiculous. That guy needs to stay off the nose candy. The truth is, AEW need WWE to stick around because they need that yardstick. They need those fans who get disillusioned with WWE to turn to AEW.
Yeah, spot on. Steve-O actually continues further, Mags. He says, also talking of WWE, when he was watching back recently old episodes, it reminded him of a brand split in 2004-2005, the first brand split, he says. He always watched Raw, and even though SmackDown was initially the much better show, he says he found it really difficult to put on SmackDown and so on and sort of cheer it on, so to speak, because Raw was always his show. He says it sounds crazy, but he just couldn't switch allegiances with a little funny smiley face. So yeah, that is quite funny for me. That is not. I could watch both shows. You know, it's the same company to me.
Yeah, around the time that this brand split happened, I was watching both brands. For me, it was I didn't choose. It was a gimmick. But it's interesting that he felt so loyal to Raw that he bagged off the blue brand. Yeah. Good on you, Steve. That is loyal to a sub brand of the same company. That is some loyalty.
That is indeed. Our good friend Ori, or at Ori the Draw on Twitter, says Dr. Pepper or Coke, never Pepsi. And this is a girl thing, but I buy mostly Urban Decay makeup and rarely anything else. See, that's something as well, I suppose, that we can't really touch upon, Magsy, with regards to makeup and so on. But I guess it's the same as, I mean, I'm a creature of habit. You buy the same deodorant, you buy the same, I suppose, is that like an extension of that potentially? Yeah,
I mean, in terms of deodorant, I like to mix it up. I like to have different ones. I don't. I think that if you have the same one over and over again, you kind of get used to the smell. But yeah, my wife, for instance, her makeup, I couldn't tell you the brand. I absolutely could not tell you the brand, but I know it costs an arm and a leg for the smallest piece. So, I understand that. I think, especially with something like makeup, when you get a style that you like, it's hard to kind of like move away from that because it's there it's in your face. It's an extension of you as a person. So you kind of get very, very kind of loyal and protective of that brand, I suppose.
Yeah. Funnily enough, we've got Millwall Chris just popping in the chat saying he's late to the show tonight, as we're sat here discussing certain makeups. Probably maybe misleading as to where the show has gone already, but I'm not going to explain. I'm going to leave you guessing, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. But to answer his question, I saw the comments of Bischoff on AEW and Tony Khan, and I agree with him. And Bischoff, he says at the beginning of his comments, it looks like he's almost talking out the other side of his mouth, because he did exactly the same thing that Tony Khan was doing, but the difference was he was financially competing with the company. The companies were relatively the same size, competing at the same time on opposing TV stations. AEW aren't doing that. They're nowhere near the size of WWE. There's only been very, very slight crossovers. So he just said. He said something that I've been repeating over and over again, that AEW should focus on what they do best, the wrestling, because it's probably the best wrestling that you can watch on a mainstream show. Yeah. It really, really is. It's so good to watch. So entertaining. The storylines are well told. The in-ring stuff is amazing. It's the nipping at WWE. It makes them almost have small man syndrome, where they need WWE to validate them. When I don't think that they do. I think they're a brilliant alternative. And the whole kind of henpecking at WWE is making them become what they said that they would never be. And that's WWE light. They're not becoming an alternative anymore. They're just trying to be WWE.
Yeah, exactly. Dear me, never mind. Graham, I'm guessing this is at Good Bad Wrestle, Good Cop Bad Cop Wrestling Podcast on Twitter.
Okay.
He says, not an exciting answer, but his old man answer is he's only buying Saucony. Is that how you say that? Saucony trainers going forward. After multiple ankle injuries, they gave me the best support and well worth the extra cost. I never get blisters wearing them, and I will be completing about 1 million steps in October the 1st to October 31st. I don't think I've ever heard of that, Saucony.
Yeah, I don't think they're hugely popular here in the UK, but I've heard of the brand. I've never owned a pair of their trainers, so if they're good at giving ankle support, might be worth a look at. With trainers, I am fiercely loyal. Nike, it's always been Nike since as young as I can remember. Air Force Ones are my current bag. They've been my favourites for a long time. I've got some cool special edition ones that I won't wear because I'm like the young bucks. They get worn once and then put away. But I've struggled to wear anything else apart from Nike trainers.
See, I've always liked Adidas.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's not something that I used to get a lot because it was expensive. I'll tell you what I did have, and I won't ever buy again, since that's one of the sort of things we said about. It's something you won't buy. Lonsdale trainers.
Okay.
I bought some of those.
I think they ended up being bought out by Sports Direct.
Oh, okay. He says with his Newcastle United mug there. I bought some Lonsdale ones, and you know where the lace goes in, the little hole, right?
Okay. Yep.
And sometimes they have like the metal thing around the hole where the lace goes in. So
there's a name for it, but I can't remember what it is. Like to keep the hole like firm, I suppose.
Yeah, so it looks stretched
the hole.
Yeah. I got a little cut on my foot from one of those, just underneath.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, because on one side they're kind of like crimped, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's like it was like, you know, effectively if you imagine the knuckle of my big toe, when my big toe goes into my foot, so to speak, right?
Okay.
I got a cut on there, tiny little cut. Didn't think nothing of it. A couple of days later, it was this huge bump, and it's still on. I've had it for years. It's still on my foot now, and it's like it's like bone. I've seen the doctor, had a scan on it, and all this sort of stuff, and they said they can't do nothing about it because if they lob my toe off, I like, you know, got to learn to walk again or some stupid shit. They said.
Yeah, and they also take your thumb off to put it in the place of your big toe.
No, they don't.
They absolutely do. That's
You
not
winding me
every toe.
up?
No, they will replace if you lose a big toe, because a big toes are essential for balance.
Right.
If you lose a big toe, they often will just replace it with your thumb. Okay, look, that's your homework for this week. Look,
That's my homework. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Sharon with the clutch save saying it's called an eyelet.
Yes, that's
That's
right. That's what's happened. This big bump, and it's basically bone, and it is horrible. And it's like the size of a freaking marble. It's like this big under my skin. I can't see that. Can you? It's like this big under my skin.
Is it movable?
No, it's rock hard, mate.
Yeah,
it's been there for years.
I'm not saying you can squash it. I'm saying, but can you like press on it and it'll move across your foot? Okay, no. So it's like a callus almost.
It's like, apparently it's like where the joint is, the bones are done that.
All right, okay.
So, and it's just, you know, so yeah, it's not good, mate. So I won't wear Lonsdale ever again because they fucked my foot up.
Yeah, the wankers.
Never
buy Sports Direct.
Nope, there we go. Oh, see, and this is why everyone listening to the podcast should first of all continue listening to the podcast, but secondly, also check out the live show or a rerun on YouTube to see these little subtle jokes here, these little niche moments.
Easter eggs.
Yeah. Ah, brilliant stuff, eh? A couple of messages I had from my two youngest, first of all. Charlie says that she would drink Coke rather than Pepsi, and Liv is very much Nike and Puma for clothing. She is staunch into McDonald's. McDonald's is like her thing. She would eat McDonald's every single day if she could. And trainers, Nike, no others, she says.
A lot of sense there. I mean, the McDonald's stuff, yeah, I can certainly leave that, but I was never a massive Puma fan, never. But Nike, definitely. I agree with that.
Tolly at Rain Counter on Twitter. It says he has been racking his brains for the last few hours, but he can't think of anything. And he says he likes his eggs to come from chickens and his potatoes from the ground. So
I mean, that's fair. And then he actually does chip in with some. He says he's pretty loyal to Apple and PlayStation, but he thinks that's more of a case of being locked in by cloud shit rather than actively enjoying them. I think by cloud shit it means ecosystem. And his wheat bisques have to be Weetabix. Supermarket wheat bisques don't cut it for him.
I can't tell the difference.
I mean, it's wheat. It's all wheat, I suppose.
Sorry, go on, Max.
I'm just to say, I think the genuine Weetabix ones are more like family, kind of like grated up, I suppose. So because the cheaper ones seem to have like bigger flakes almost, but yeah, I don't think there's a lot of difference in taste.
No, the size of them is an issue because if I'm going to have Weetabix, I'll have 3 Weetabix, right?
What topping?
I just have milk.
Do you have sugar?
No, you don't need sugar on stuff like that, do you?
Okay. All right, calm down. I mean, I will have 2 Weetabix and I'll have it with yogurt rather than milk.
Okay. No, I love milk though, so I'll have 3 Weetabix. Well, thank you for your permission. Next time I have Weetabix, I know Mags approves. Cheers.
Mags approved.
But you have normal Weetabix, right? They're a bit bigger, I think, because I can have 3 Weetabix and that's fine. The small, the Asda own or Tesco own or whatever, they're a touch smaller. So then you got a decision. So, yeah, but if you have 4, it's almost like it's too much.
Yeah. So you have 3.5.
I could do, couldn't I, actually?
Yeah.
Because then I can just have that half.
Or
an hour,
3 and a slice of toast.
No, I'm not about that.
Jesus Christ.
If I'm having cereal, I'm having cereal. I'm not gonna have cereal and toast. That's weird to me.
What?
I won't have
You only
cereal
have
and
one
toast.
thing. So
Well, unless unless it's like a fry up. If I'm having a fry up, I don't just have bacon. I have everything on the fry up, right?
I will only have this. I just want today's. I want mushrooms. That's it.
Yeah, just a bowl of mushrooms. No, but I won't have cereal and toast. And there's 2 reasons for this, okay? But maybe more, but these are what I'm gonna go through. When you're making your cereal, I don't like my cereal to go squidgy. So I like milk, and then the cereal to still stay crunchy. So you got to eat that as soon as you made it, otherwise the milk makes it go squidgy,
As
right?
soon as the milk's poured, you wolf it down.
Yeah, but I don't have to
As quick as
smash.
possible.
I don't have to smash through it just to hurry it out and get
Why don't you go the easy route of getting a mouthful of dry cereal and then swigging the milk from a bottle?
I did go through a stage of eating dry Weetabix actually.
Oh Jesus Christ! You absolute animal.
It was just handy, we've had a beer or two, you're a bit snacky, and there's a Weetabix there, just grab it and away you go, innit?
I mean, Sharon, she didn't really need to add that second sentence. Yeah. Dry
He's a
with
freak,
that's brave.
apparently, thanks,
That
Sean.
is brave.
But yeah, if you're having your Weetabix, and then your toaster's going to get cold, isn't it?
Does that really matter?
Yeah,
Put a bit of peanut butter
toaster's
on
got to
it,
be warm.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Toaster's got to
calling
be
me
warm.
for bubbly chocolate and listen to the words coming out of your mouth.
No. Listen, this makes sense, right?
It doesn't.
It does. Let me. Toast is supposed to be warm. That's why you put it in the toaster. You toast it so it's warm and crispy and whatnot, and it melts your butter. Okay, that's the point of toasting it, right? If you let it get cold, then your butter's not going to melt.
But it goes cold pretty much instantly. The minute it comes out of the toaster, it's already cooling down. So what do you butter it and then quick?
Well, I guess
retain all the heat.
If you got toast that's gone cold, that's just crispy bread, isn't it?
Then why don't you, following on the same way you could eat cereal, have a mouthful of butter and then just as soon as the toaster pops, bite a piece of your toast.
A mouthful of butter. Literally just a spoon of butter. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna video it and I'll put it up on the Chain Wrestling Twitter. I will toast a bit of bread and I'll put a bit like a butter in my mouth like that, and I'll test it out and I'll see how we get on.
Yeah.
Okay.
You better do that now. You better not let us down now.
I will do that. That'll either be tonight or tomorrow. That'll be up on the Chain Wrestling Twitter. But yeah, toast needs to be warm. Like you watch these programs like 4 in a Bed or whatever, the B&B stuff. Do you know what I mean? When they're all going to different B&Bs.
Do you know when I really die on a hill over bubbly chocolate? You are doing this now over melted butter on toast.
Yeah, but this is the perfect example. They all sit there and they got these little wire things in the middle of their tables, aren't they? And all the toast is stood up in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting. That's just sat there. That's just cold toast. That's rank.
I despair of you. I really do.
Look at the carnage and nonsense Tolly's caused of his Weetabix talk.
And actually, before we move on from Tolly, Dan Griffin makes a really good point here. He said, I've heard a rumor that he eats no and tries to get other people on board because that's what Tolly thinks stocks and shares is. That's a brilliant joke, by the way, but he is very brand loyal to no, the stock company, and that's because he eats the stock cubes.
Yes, I remember you saying before.
Like the horrific animal that he is. So take Tolly's ideas and thoughts with certainly with a pinch of salt.
Or a pinch of stock.
Yeah, well, don't take it with that because that's essentially flavoured salt.
Danny helping me out there in the chat. A toast
The
rack.
wire thing.
The wire thing, yeah. A toast rack is what I was looking for. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Oh, dear.
Sharon, he's complained more about that more times than I care to talk about. We are getting an insight into you and your food foibles now, sir.
Yeah, I reckon. You know, I like my cereal crispy. I like my toast warm. It doesn't make me some sort of freak, does it? It's you know?
I mean, I like my chocolate to be chocolate and not fresh air. But I get blasted for that every week, including at the beginning of this very episode by Graham. So you will reap what you sow now.
I'm okay.
I'm
with
going to eat a cold slice of toast in front of you.
Oh,
And some sloppy Weetabix.
No, see, sloppy Weetabix. Right? See, the weird thing is, okay, sloppy Weetabix, I'm like, well, I ain't sure about that. But porridge and stuff like that and ready bread, that's fine. But it's a similar sort of texture, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. I like my porridge to be like cement, though, where you put the spoon in it and the spoon stands to attention.
Yeah, I get you. So I never used to like that sort of texture of stuff when I was a kid, like semolina pudding. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's horrific.
Yeah,
The wife loves it. I think it's disgusting.
Blancmange as well. I never got on with blancmange.
Blancmange is all right. I don't mind blancmange. I won't go out of my way to find it.
No, but Weetabix, yeah, sound.
and that's the takeaway, people. Yeah, Weetabix is sound.
We're not getting better than this, mate. Should we just go? Anya, who I think is still in the chat, also tweeted the show saying she can never cheat on Mackey's gherkins. They're the shit. Yeah, I do like the gherkins you get at McDonald's.
No, they are shit, not the shit, just shit in general.
What, the gherkins or the actual McDonald's? I know you don't like McDonald's. So.
Why not both?
Okay, I like gherkins.
Yeah, gherkins are horrific. No, they're not.
Well, okay. Also, she says Vans are the only shoes that she'll wear. Vans,
they're the skateboarder ones.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Like the checkerboard style. Yeah, they're not for me. They're not my style, but they are very popular. One of my son's girlfriends, she wears Vans. Literally, that's the only thing that she'll wear is Vans. So, yeah.
I had a pair of see, Sharon might need to help me out with the name of these when I was younger. BK Knights, British Knights, or BK.
Yes, it was British Knights.
That's it. I had a pair of them when I was younger, and I thought they were the business because they were expensive. But in actual fact, looking back, they were horrific. And they were black, and they had a big gold BK on the sides. I'm talking like the size of the boot. And then around the ankle, it came out like a moon boot. The tongue on these boots was big enough, if I wanted to cut it off, put it on my bed and use it as a pillow. It was huge, you know? And I thought these were absolutely the business. And back then, and again, this is going back because nowadays, very much not the case. But back then, I was a really skinny kid. So I must have looked like, from the waist down, a pair of fucking golf clubs or something.
Or a pillock.
Or a pillock. Well, yeah. I'll see if I can find a picture of those BK Knights because they were bad.
That can be your entry to the Halloween competition. Golf looking like a set of golf clubs.
No. To be honest, I don't even know if do they still make those BK Knights? Are they still a thing?
I've not got a clue. They were never my style of trainers. I always thought they kind of look like wannabe American rapper style trainers.
Yeah. And I thought I didn't really like them, but I wore them to try and fit in because I was a sado. Do you know what I mean? So it's a case of
look at you changing your tune. You absolutely adored them. Come on,
I did
admit it.
Well, I don't know. I suppose different days, different feelings. Maybe, who knows? I sure as hell wasn't a rapper. I'll tell you that. It was. I did have someone at work, a young lad who I'm supposed to be training over the last few days, ask if he could share his rap with me the other day. That was.
Did you fire him?
No, I've not got that. Say so. I've not got that. I think I must be doing something wrong because apparently to these people I work with, I'm approachable and they want to talk to me about like stuff and their lives and things. I'm just like, I don't really know what to say. I don't know how to respond. One of the youngsters who works for us came over and started trying to share issues that he had with his ex-partner and issues he's had with his girlfriend. I've known the guy 20 minutes, and I'm just like, oh, I don't really know what to do. So
this is where a pair of Bluetooth earbuds would work wonders.
Well, so I came home that day and I said to Sharon when I walked in, the first thing I said to her was, do I come across approachable? And I kid you not, she roared with laughter.
Just one of those laughters where an hour later she just looks at you and just starts out laughing again.
Exactly, mate, exactly. Matt Willis, the magnificent Matt Willis at the Matatat UK on Twitter, good friend of the show. He says here's Xbox through and through.
Yeah,
Apple.
That's a bugbear with him for me.
Okay. Apple producers galore, all synced, so easy to access when he's out and about. Pepsi Max over Coke Zero, Diet Coke over Pepsi Diet, Morrison's over Tesco. Okay. I mean, I understand Xbox and PlayStation are two different computer,
Wow.
things. Do you know what I mean? Consoles.
You sound like what Anya has put in the chat that all my mates call you a Viking, Dad.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, that's cool. Being a Vikings are cool.
So my beard's quite grey, isn't it? And I used to think
elderly Viking.
Elderly Viking, brilliant. Yeah, I know Xbox and PlayStation, obviously, rivals like Sega and Nintendo once were back when I was younger. My lad and my girls, as far as I know, Liam, my lad, he's had Xboxes sometimes, but they always go back to PlayStations. Is it a big rivalry between the two? Is that something that people pick and choose, or can people play both? Is it AEW, WWE again?
People can always play both. This is certainly another kind of manufactured war, but these are essentially the Nintendo and Sega from 20 years ago.
Okay.
Sony have been winning the war for the last 3-4 generations, but the winner is the gamers, because it's pushed for competition. I am firmly in Sony's corner. Since I've had every single PlayStation that's been released, and I've just never got on with the control pad of the Xbox. I think it's just too big, too wieldy. But I don't hate the Xbox. It just never interested me. I always like the exclusives on Sony. So, but I do give Matt grief for being an Xbot. In terms of Apple, that's a different thing. Apple really ground me because they have developed this mindset that Apple products are the very best, and they're not. They really are not. Build wise, they look good. They're really well designed, but the minute you look at one, you'll break the screen. And then they've fashioned this mindset that once you're plugged into their ecosystem, it's hard to get out because all your products sync together. But Android and Windows do that a hell of a lot anyway. So that's kind of like a myth that they're selling you on. And the other thing is that they will bring out a new product every year, and it will have the tiniest kind of upgrade on the last product. And they'll sell it as something that's new and amazing, and only Apple can do it. When in reality, they're about 3 to 4 years behind the race for technology that the Androids are. I mean, if you want bleeding edge technology like the latest and greatest, like ideas, you should be an Android user. But if you want the ease, and this is something I'll praise Apple for, is the ease of use. Apple have got you cornered. But the main thing is that Apple sell you a brand, they sell you a badge, and that's what makes their products more expensive. It's not necessarily the technology inside, which is behind the times. It's you're buying into a brand.
Oh, okay. See, I've always had Samsung phones ever since I started having a smartphone. Mm-hmm. I had an iPod. And when I was at work and you could connect to the Wi-Fi and so on, I could use it. Was basically like a phone without the option to phone. You could do everything else on it, and I never really got on with how to use it, so I just went back to the Samsung stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sharon has recently got an iPhone after being Samsung for years and years. Yeah, there you go in the chat saying she's an Apple wanker.
We call them sheeple.
Okay, right, but she's loving it. She's enjoying using it. Again, she always Samsung before then. So it's quite interesting.
That's another bugbear that I have. People, if you are not an Apple user, the kind of mindset is that you must be a Samsung user because Android and Samsung are so intertwined. They're not. They're really, really not. Samsung just use the Android software. They're another company who are quite behind the times in terms of the bleeding edge technology. They wait for some of the smaller Android based companies to bring out technology, and what they do is they buy the rights or buy the patents off that company, and then you'll see that go to their next generation of phones. But yeah, that's something that grabs me, that where people will say, "Oh, have you got an Apple phone?" They'll go, "No." Oh, well, you must have a Samsung.
Right. Okay.
No. I mean, currently I do have a Samsung, so I'm really taking the piss there. But Android is massive compared to just Samsung.
Okay. I just like the Samsung. I know how to use it. Yeah. So that's a big thing for me. I don't want to be dicking around changing to this or changing to that.
That's what they sell you on, the ease of use, the ease of transfer.
Yeah, fair enough. We have a bit more from Dan Griffin on Twitter. He says, video game wise, he's very much a Sony pony. He will always pick PlayStation unless it's ridiculously more expensive. Phone wise, Apple, purely because I had an iPod back in the day and everything is already there and easily synced. So I suppose that kind of backs up what you were saying, Magsy, with regards to selling the ease and so on of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Anya in the chat, Apple is more practical for my demographic. It is. It's an Apple phone is a status symbol. If you don't have an Apple phone, you're looked at as less than. So it's the brand that you're buying. You're buying the brand of Apple.
Okay. Well, there we go. That concludes everything we've got on Twitter from everyone today, Mags. What about yourself? You know, you might have covered a couple already, but what about yourself? Anything in particular that you would refuse to buy, or anything that you are particularly loyal to?
Yeah, a couple of odd foibles. Obviously, bubbly chocolate, I will never buy that as long as I shall live. But I'm weird for Cravendale milk. I think that their milk is just absolutely far superior to any other milk that you can get. And this house will always be a Branston's Beans house. And you can get Hans and whatever companies, HP, but this house will forever stay a Branston's Beans house. So those are the couple. I mean, Sony, I'll stick with. KFC, over like McDonald's and Burger King, stuff like that. But yeah, those are the main ones that I'm brand loyal with.
The beans one I can get on board with. Well, I say I can get on board with. I will eat Heinz and so on. Yeah, there we go. Sharon in the chat already. Yes,
so
to Branston's.
Sweet. I mean, we used to eat Heinz beans before Branston's became a big thing. And then comparing the difference, the Heinz beans, they taste so sweet, like really kind of sugary in the sauce, and it's really watery. Branston's is just, it's phenomenal. Really thick tomato flavored sauce, like firm beans. Yeah, they're perfect for me. I love them.
Good in a toasty as well, mate.
Yeah, beans in a toasted, or you're dancing with death.
No, because you squeeze all the juice out, don't you? And then you just spoon in a little bit with your cheese and your jalapeno peppers and your ham.
Good. I mean, that makes sense, but anytime I've done it, you're always taking that risk. Am I going to bite and this is going to burn my lips off?
Yeah, but if that happens to your toaster, you have a knife and fork. Look.
Okay, then what's the point of having a toast? You might as well just have beans on toast.
No, because that's not the same thing, is it?
Well, it is, because it's beans and bread.
It's not, because you've got ham and cheese and jalapenos and all that in it as well.
Can you not put them in your beans before you put on your toast?
No. Because why would you put cheese in your beans? That's not
cheesy beans.
Is that a thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can put it on the top of your beans once you've plated up.
Yeah, I've done that.
So then,
but I'll always have a toasty rather than something on toast. Feels
to
weird.
hold in your hand, yeah. Not to
No.
eat with a knife and fork and a napkin. Like, this is delicious.
Oh no, I don't sit there like I don't sit at the dinner table all suited and booted to eat my toasty. It's not that way, but I have a knife and fork.
I'll just eat
oh
my,
yeah, look at
my
this.
toasty more. Sharon,
Oh, yeah.
pass the vinaigrette, please.
Oh, for goodness sake, you're such a jackass. Oh dear. What we got in the chat then, Magsy, before we move on to a bit of wrestling?
Yeah, so Sharon saying that she it was firmly Samsung before she jumped to the sheeple train, and that she only got an iPhone because it was a better contract, and her dad bought her a MacBook for her 40th. I can't even believe that she's 40. It's shocking. I wished I looked that good when I was 40. That's absolutely amazing. Sharon also agreeing that yes to Branston. We want onto our cupboard. I think we've got about 6 tins maybe in the cupboard, and that's low for us. Surprised the wife hadn't gone on a shopping trip to build up the supplies. So then we've got Dan giving you some grief about beans. Said I ordered some baked beans with bacon as a side at a barbecue place in New York City once. They were sweeter than most chocolate bars and just found, yeah, sweet beans are horrific. And also, have you never been to Greg's Sa? Of course, cheesy beans are a thing.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what's really stupid as well? Like, really stupid.
You said that. You said cheese and beans. Cheese and beans is a thing. How?
Yeah, no, yeah. But what's really stupid
is witchcraft.
I did the food shopping this week, and I ordered cheesy bean pasty. No, I ordered cheesy bean pasty things similar to what you get at Greg's. So they're literally sat in my freezer right now, and I paid for them. So of course, what am I doing? What am I thinking of?
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I ask myself that question on a weekly basis.
It's all the fumes and stuff that I got to deal with at work now, all the chemicals for cleaning and stuff. It's messing my head, mate.
And Sharon, this is a golder. We had an argument about this the other day because I wanted cheese on toast, and he said I should have had a toaster. Cheese on toast and a toaster are not the same thing.
No. But toasters are better. That's why I said you should have a toasty.
No, cheese on toast is better than a toaster.
No way.
Come on, man.
I'm not having that.
Crispy cheese.
Yeah.
Over melted sloppy cheese. No.
Yeah, but the melted sloppy cheese, right, is
the
inside
the
melted sloppy cheese is inside the crispy bread, isn't it? With other stuff too.
Yeah, but then you get the crispy cheese on a piece of crispy bread, aka toast.
Well, as long as it don't go cold.
Oh, good Lord, man. I'm surprised you have any taste bud left on your tongue. Just everything has to be eaten as quick as possible before it gets to room temperature.
Oh, there we go. My wife there as well, saying there, Magsy, she loves you.
I mean, I don't blame her. I am amazing.
Dickhead. Okay then. Shall we talk a little bit of wrestling, Magsy?
I mean, we might as well. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, we are a wrestling show.
Let's get ready to rumble!
He still looks so weird with your hair.
Rude. I'm going to turn my camera off now, so I'll deal with that now. An orange bottle of Jameson's instead.
It's like pulsating when you talk as well. That's quite cool.
Oh, I'm talented. That's why.
So if I turn my mic off, what do I become? Not my mic.
An orange bottle of Jameson's.
Do I?
That's the default.
Oh, okay. Says a lot about our show, I suppose.
And as Dan in the chat says, tuck in, get your hot chocolate, get your cold toast and non-melted butter, or make yourself a quick toaster. It is time for a story.
It's a bit late for a toasty, Max. You've got to be responsible. You know, all that fatty cheese and jalapeno peppers, kind of having that at gone 10 o'clock
before bedtime. Yeah, cheese before bedtime. Not a good idea.
I'm not allowed pepper, like the hot spicy peppers, like after a certain time of night because it makes me cough in the night.
Okay.
It makes me like I'm going to throw up.
I thought you were going to go the other way, that it makes it pungent.
Oh, no.
In the
Well, maybe.
boudoir.
I don't know.
You are
Anyway.
never eating peppers in this room again. I had to crack the window.
Maxie, your choice won the poll again.
I know, shocking. What's that? 3 in a row?
I don't know, mate. I don't know.
It's
I'm beginning
almost
to think,
like they want us to watch terrible matches.
well, I'm beginning to think people just don't like WCW.
I mean, did anyone really like WCW?
Me. I like WCW. I watched Starcade 97 the other morning with Charlie. That was awesome.
Well, had Charlie been Norton needed to feel the error of their ways?
No, she enjoyed it. She said she doesn't like bad guy Hulk Hogan, but Sting looked cool. So there we go. But this was not a WCW event because my choice of one of the best moments on Monday Nitro ever got ignored again. Come on, people. Wake up. What won was No Mercy 1999, but from the UK, because in 99 there's actually 2 No Mercies, Mags, wasn't there?
Yes, I think this was the very first No Mercy, and then WWE or WF at the time decided to make it a regular thing. But yeah, this was the genesis of the No Mercy brand, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's one of those pay-per-view names that I always, I've always liked. I always think, Judgment Day, Armageddon, they make me think of certain great memories from the WWE or WWF in the past,
Yeah.
rather than getting stuff like Great Balls of Fire or whatever. Yeah. These are proper pay-per-view names to me.
Yeah, and they're not the gimmick match ones. You can have any kind of match on it because they're not linked to a certain style of match. And this one was popular enough that it got its own brand of WWF video game, one of the most revered versions of a WWF game. I think it was on the N64, and everybody, I think there's still tournaments for it now. For WWF No Mercy. So yeah, it's I think it's gone by the wayside now. I don't think we see a lot of No Mercy anymore. But yeah, I always thought the name was pretty cool.
I think an N64 is probably, talking about PlayStations and consoles and whatnot earlier on. I think an N64 was the last computer that I played semi-regularly because my kid brother had an N64. So I used to play the wrestling game with him. Sorry?
That's like the mid-90s.
Oh, well, the game that I play on a weekly basis, nightly basis, some weeks, the Championship Manager game that I adore, that turned 20 years old this week, Max.
What, that your actual edition of it?
Yeah, 20 years old this week.
I like the Football Managers, the current ones. I'll certainly be buying Football Manager 22, but the classics just hold a special place in my heart.
Oh, there you go. I had an Xbox. Like the original black block with a green bit on the front.
Huge one, yeah.
Yeah, because you could get the Championship Manager I play now, that's 20 years old. The next one you could get on the Xbox.
Okay.
And I bought an Xbox for 30 quid from like secondhand shop in town. Bought that game.
Was it any good?
It was all right. I didn't realise until the end of it that the memory, or for whatever reason, I'm guessing it's memory, I'm not sure, but it would only let you play 20 seasons and then just stops.
Oh, wow. So it's the first ever Championship Manager game that you could finish.
Well, yeah, it just stops and that's that, really. So that was a bit frustrating, but it takes a long time to get to 20 seasons anyway, but it's like, yeah. Anyway.
he won't even try a newer Champ Manager Safia's chain. You can get it on your phone.
Yeah, I know. But that'd be deadly. I'll lose my job and all sorts, mate. I'll be sat there. I have tried newer ones. I had Championship Manager 3 and I had 4. I think I still got them, but I just didn't get on with
it. They're still not new. They're still very, very old.
Yeah, but they're newer. Yeah,
they're newer than ye older Championship Manager that you've got.
2001, 2002 season. Manchester United have just signed Ruud van Nistelrooy in it, mate. It's great.
I'll always say that Champ Manager Italia on the original Amiga will always be my favourite. So damn good. always be Fiorentina, who were in Serie B at the time. You could steal Eric Cantona from Leeds for about $500,000, and he would win you that Serie B in a heartbeat. And then it would be absolutely amazing the next season. So yeah, that I could play all the time.
Yeah, they were good. My mate had an Amiga, and he had the Lemmings game for it as well. The amount of time spent on Lemmings, yeah, that was great. I like that. That was a good game, Lemmings.
Mm-hmm. And it was so good because you could essentially just play loads and loads of copy games.
Yeah,
because you just copied the discs.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Anyway, we are a wrestling podcast. Believe it or not. So, Magsy's choice was the main event from No Mercy 99, the UK show, the first No Mercy of all time. The main event was a triple threat match between Stone Cold Steve Austin, the current reigning WWF champion, Triple H, and The Undertaker, who were both part of the corporate ministry at the time.
Yes.
I've never seen this pay-per-view, Max. This is the first time I've ever seen this.
Really?
Yeah.
So before we get into the match, what was your overall thoughts on the pay-per-view? Because for me, this was the corporate ministry show. It was pretty much everything was corporate ministry. They were involved in outside, I think the opener, which was the Gilbert still makes me laugh to this day. The how they had the brass neck to take the piss out of Goldberg so much with Gilbert is unreal. But aside from that, I think they're involved in pretty much every single match.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh no, I don't think they were involved in the Blackman and Droz match, but yeah, they're pretty much involved in all the matches bar them, I think.
Yeah, and they're basically the first thing you see as well. They come out first on the pay-per-view, don't they? Shane McMahon starts talking, and they're effectively the last thing you see. The main event finishes, and it's very much Shane McMahon, Triple H, and so on in the ring there as well. So, yeah, I think you're right. It's really dominated by the corporate ministry there. But it was a really hot, strong storyline at the time, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That was the biggest storyline in running through WWF at that time, and they were making enemies left, right, and center to the point where I think Mankind, I think was it Boss Man, Ken Shamrock, and I want to say Hacksaw were part of a group called the Union, which were trying to take down the corporate ministry, but they essentially had enemies left, right, and center.
Yeah, and they were involved in every title scene, every storyline, every match of this show, and many, many others. This was broadcast from Manchester, the MEN Arena, and it looked great, didn't it? Absolutely rammed. The seats seemed quite a steep angle, which I think made it look really sort of compact.
If you've never been to a show at the MEN Arena, it's very, very steep. The nosebleeds are nosebleeds. You're right up in the rafters. It's incredibly steep, and the crowd are on top of each other almost. So, like I said, with it being a compact arena, the energy in there and the kind of buzz from the crowd, you could really feel it. I bet that ring was shaking with when the fans were cheering. It looked like a cool event to me. I've been to a few events for WWE MEN, and it's always a brilliant atmosphere. So going to essentially a pay-per-view there, I bet it would have been awesome.
Oh, okay. I've never been there. But then I've never been to a WWE event, to be honest, so I've got nothing to compare it to, I guess. This, though, it seemed like it was maybe it is that sort of atmosphere, the build of the stage or something, but it almost sounded like the ring was mic'd differently. Watching the main event, the sound of when people were taking the bumps and even just running the ropes, it didn't sound like what I'm used to. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I didn't really pick up on a lot, but I can understand you meaning. I mean, so I suppose logistically, they probably didn't have a ring in the UK, so they perhaps had to rent one or maybe borrow one from another company. So the whole setup might have been different to what they normally would put on in a US show, perhaps. So, but yeah, I don't think I really picked up on a huge difference.
Okay. So What did you think of the match then, Max? Looking back, when was the last time you saw this? Like for me, like I said, first time. So
it's been a hell of a long time. I don't think I've watched this since it aired. I can't remember going back to watch this match. And kind of like last week's, I don't think it's aged particularly well.
No.
I enjoyed the storyline, and whenever you've got two members of the same faction in a triple threat where they can essentially pin each other, you're always going to have that kind of looking over your shoulder. And any match with Austin in, I'm already kind of fully invested. But to watch it from a critical point of view, it was incredibly basic.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, we start off with the heels, I guess, making their entrances. Triple H's theme. I'm massive Motorhead fan. I love Triple H's Motorhead themes, but every time I hear his pre-Motorhead theme, I think, oh, that was a great tune, wasn't it?
My time, yeah, it's a really good theme tune.
Yeah, really good.
And all the way through the show, you heard a lot of different versions. The Ministry versions of a lot of these people's entrance music, I thought absolutely banged. Like Shane McMahon's No Chance in Hell Ministry version, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I enjoyed the music in this show, definitely.
Yeah. Then that glass shatters and the place just goes batshit crazy, doesn't it? And that to me, I mean, people talk about the Road Warrior pop as being a term used in the business, isn't it? You know, for me, the Austin pop, because the glass shattering is like a flick of the switch to the crowd and they just go, don't they? And you see it so many times in so many different venues, so many different arenas, so many different shows. It's always that same crazy reaction, Mags, isn't it?
Yeah, and just to link to a change in attitude, we've actually just covered Buried Alive, which is the very first time you actually hear the glass shatter music from Stone Cold Steve Austin, and yeah, it brings back memories. It's instantaneous. I mean, there's people's theme music who you kind of gravitate to the minute you hear the very first bar of it. Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Austin, The Rock, these kind of theme tunes that you instantly looking towards the rampway to see the big star come out, because yeah, it's just synonymous with him now, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. There's a big deal made all the way through the show, really, and especially during the match from Jim Ross on commentary, about this being anything goes, no DQ, and so on. I thought all triple threat matches were effectively no DQ.
No, I think the rules, and Shane kind of in the opening promo assigns it. I think he says he doesn't quite say no holds barred, and Jim Ross has to kind of correct him. But yeah, he makes it no holds barred. But no, I think there are meant to be rules. I think the no holds barred is the one that gets used the most, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay. It takes a little while for the three competitors to make it to the ring. They're battling in the aisle. They're battling towards the crowd. The Undertaker hits
choking
Austin.
Each other with what I think are meant to be cables, but look like thick rubber bands.
Yeah. The Undertaker hits Austin with some of the worst belt shots I think I've ever seen in my life as a wrestling fan. That you need to go and check them out at the beginning of this match. Just to, I can't explain how bad these were. You know?
I think all the way through this match, the punches and the kicks and the throat thrust from Undertaker, he does that quite a few times in this match. They all look phoned in. They all look really weak. I don't know whether this was a kind of a grueling tour for WWF, but yeah, this match looks slow and plodding, and it does look phoned in. I don't think I can say it any clearer than that. It looks a very phoned in match.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a few odd moments as well. Like we said, those belt shots were pretty atrocious. There's a moment where a steel chair becomes involved, and Earl Hebner, the referee, decides to stop Triple H using it, but it's okay for Austin.
Yeah, that comes quite near going towards the end. Essentially, all the way through the match, we see a lot of double teaming between Undertaker and Triple H to beat down Austin. But Austin he's the Great White Hope, so he's able to fend these off over and over and over again, which it ends up looking a little bit unrealistic.
Yeah.
Where you see, for instance, he'll be again attacked by Triple H and he'll knock Triple H down. But you'll see Undertaker in the back of the ring waiting for his time to attack rather than attacking when Austin isn't looking. So there was a lot of telegraphing, and there's some times when they're on the outside and Austin's throws the Undertaker back into the ring, and Triple H kindly waits for Austin to finish before he attacks Austin and slams him into the ring. Says they were. Again, it just felt so phoned in. You could hear the wrestlers talking between each other, which is I know you have to do that because it's so hard to kind of memorize every step of every match. So you have to really kind of like work together as part of the team. But when you're hearing it clear as crystal over the audio, it kind of it kind of ruins the mystique of it, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of it from, I think, all three competitors here as well, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going back and forth. Eventually, the Undertaker and Triple H are semi-working together. They have this kind of teaming up aspect of them being in the same stable, but it's not quite concrete. Eventually, the inevitable happens, and they turn on each other and start throwing punches to each other and so on. One of the best moments of the match, I suppose it does show how this match is, but one of the best moments of the match for me, Magsy, was when you saw Paul Bearer and China on the outside looking like they're going to square off, and Paul Bearer does his best Bruce Lee impression and throws some crazy martial arts shapes. That tickled me. That really got me.
And that was really the only time you see Paul Bearer be that into the match. He's essentially just hanging around the side of the ring for long periods. China has a little bit more involvement when we get towards the end, but yeah, the parts where the Undertaker and Triple H start turning on each other, I think that starts when Triple H shoves Taker. Shoves Austin into a Taker, I think, going for a choke slam, and he ends up being crotched on the ring post, and that leads to them kind of brawling. But every time one of them wanted to get the pin, the other one obviously want to be champion, so they kind of upset the pin. And it just led to ridiculous shenanigans, I suppose.
Yeah, and we get, I suppose, the one that. The moment in the match that kind of summarizes the whole thing for me and how clunky and how off it kind of feels. There's a series of moves where the competitors, they go for a stunner, then a pedigree, and then that's countered into a choke slam. And it is, like you said, Magsy, waiting around for the next moment. Mm-hmm. It seems the timing is off. It seems, like I said, I suppose, I can't think of any other way to describe it other than clunky. It just kind of doesn't go.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't go smoothly, I guess.
And that sequence that you're talking about could have looked really cool with Austin going for a stunner, then countering the tombstone, which then leads into the pedigree. That could, if it was done smoothly, and on another day, I dare say that they could have pulled this off really well. But like I said, it felt forced, it felt plodding, it felt clunky. That was a great way of describing it.
Yeah. We then get effectively a mini Royal Rumble, I think, because it seems, I mean, if anyone in Manchester wanted to go nick some decent, wrestling gear or some wrestling boots or whatever, now's the time to do it because the locker rooms have emptied. Everyone in the back is at the front.
Yeah, well, I mean, that whole segment starts from, I think, Austin, he stuns Taker. Triple H makes the save, then Triple H gets the stunner, and that's when the corporate ministry all pile out and start beating the shit out of Austin. And then X-Pac and Kane, who've been involved with the corporate ministry, and the Brood all come out to make the save. Mankind comes down as well, so yeah, it's a free for all essentially.
Yeah, everyone's fighting with each other, and it kind of all then drifts away from the ring, doesn't it? It's the fighting that these people all making a run in, the sort of melee, I guess, drifts off towards the back again.
Yeah, and they they kind of magically take the Undertaker with them, who really should be concentrating on this match, but he's kind of like involved in this melee going to the back, which leaves Austin versus Triple H essentially for a singles match. Trips takes the impetus at the beginning. We see China come in, and Triple H has Austin like kind of in a half Nelson or full Nelson in the corner. Then China could easily have just clobbered Austin, but she then decides to do a backflip. For some weird reason. She literally had Austin face to face. All she had to do was hit him. She does a backflip. Austin's able to break out. She takes the worst stunner probably worse than Vince McMahon. She does not take a good stunner at all. Trips then gets a stunner, and then we get the win. Austin picks up the victory, but that's not the end of it. We get
not for a while, is it? No,
it's a good 10 minutes, and for me, this is actually the best part of this whole match. This is where I was the most entertained. Shane he's trying to break up the pin. He's unable to. Austin rolls off of Triple H after the win, spots Shane. Shane tries to leg it, gets halfway up the ramp. X-Pac's there, essentially throws him back into the ring. Shane gets stunned about 10 times, perhaps, in this match. I mean, there's literally everybody gets stunned. But we get the typical Austin where he's throwing beer cans around and passing them to X-Pac. X-Pac does the Bronco Buster on China, Triple H, and Shane. Earl Hebner gets involved.
Yeah, he's loving it, isn't he?
Oh, he doesn't even do the whole kind of throwing the beer on your face and letting it all spill over. He drinks it because he thinks maybe this is the only Steve Weiser I'm ever going to get. But
he gets up on the middle rope and he's throwing his arms in the air at one stage.
He's absolutely loving it. And then we essentially end where Triple H he's been he's basically being brought to his feet by Austin and X-Pac. They all want to make friends. Austin gives him a beer. They all clink the cans together, and Triple H gets another stunner. It's brilliant. It's such that end. That's a great way to send a house show home happy. It's so entertaining. It's just a pity we have to go through a plodding, phoned-in match to get there.
Yeah, very much so. It'd be interesting to hear your rating then, Magsy, I suppose, out of 10. The ending, like you said, is good fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's some big names involved here. The Austin pop is great, but the match itself, bell to bell, what'd you give it, mate? What'd you give it?
I mean, encompassing it all, the whole kind of storyline going into the match, the competitors in there are elite level. These are three wrestlers who are vying for spots on the Mount Rushmore wrestling. There's absolutely no two ways about that. But this was none of them had their best night at the office in this match. So if we calling it just on the match, it's not the worst thing we've seen. We've certainly watched worse, but it's certainly not among the very best things that we've seen. So it's the lower side of middle of the road. So if I was just to go off the match, I'd probably say a 4. But throwing in that entertaining 5 to 10 minutes at the end, the fact that Earl Hebner gets involved, the amount of stunners, the way that the crowd gets sent home happy, I can't rag on it too much. So I'm going to bump it up a little bit. I'm going to give it a 5.
See, I can rag on it. I'm going 4. I always use previous matches, I suppose, as the benchmark as to where I'm going to go with the ratings. And the biggest one to me that always stands out is our very, very first show, all them many, many months ago, Magsy. And it was the Straight Jacket Steel Cage match between Booker T and Steve Austin. We both gave that a 5. To me, that's kind of where my benchmark is, lower and up and down from there. I think I would rather go back and watch Booker T Steiner in a straightjacket steel cage match than this again.
I mean, that's fair. I understand that point
But
entirely.
only marginally. So if that had a 5, kind of thinking this probably goes 4 for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like I said, if I was just looking at the match itself and not the added bit on, I would have probably gone 4. But I think that entertaining stuff with the Bronco Busters and the Stunners and Earl Hebner getting involved, that bumped it up a little bit for me.
I hate the Bronco Buster.
It's a ridiculous move, but it's fun. It's fun to watch someone get dick in the face, I suppose.
You know, there's sites that help you out with that, yeah, on the interwebs. You know,
It's www.com/network.
well, yeah, just type in profile X-Pac. Oh my god, he's done some videos like that, hasn't he? Maybe we should be a bit careful.
Yeah. Don't look up X-Pac, and certainly don't look up X-Pac in China.
No, definitely not. Let's move on. Oh dear, Magsy, where do you want to go next week?
So next week, as Sam mentioned at the beginning of the show, is the last week before we get into our Halloween, hopefully very special.
Oh yeah.
So I want to kind of make sure we set the ball rolling towards those matches that we'll hopefully be picking for that Halloween special. So I'm going to kind of preempt where the kind of match picks will be going. And it does actually link to this match. It's not tenuous at all. 2 of the people involved in this match are in the match that or are involved in the match that I'm putting forward. So I want to go a little bit further in time. I want to go to the year 2000, WWF Judgment Day. The main event of that match was Triple H taking on The Rock in a 60-minute Iron Man match for the WWF title. Shawn Michaels was the guest referee in that match, but it's actually the match where The Undertaker debuts one of his more divisive characters, I suppose, the American Badass. So yeah, I think I'll want to go to Judgment Day from May the 21st of 2000, and Rock versus Triple H for the WWF title in a 60-minute Iron Man match.
That is good. I rewatched that with David Eaton probably about 5-6 months ago now. Going back away, because obviously SJP's had a break and it's been a while since we recorded with him as well. That is a good match. That is very good. Mm-hmm. What's Dan saying in the chat there? Sorry.
He's saying cannot in good conscience recommend X-Pac in China's forays into cinema. I mean, cinema's a stretch. I think a lot of it was filmed maybe on phones. But yeah.
See, there we go. Look, that's what's great about our little community. That's what's great about our little section of the internet here. Our little group of listeners, watchers, etc., etc. People like Dan Griffin putting their neck on the line, venturing out there and checking out stuff like X-Pac versus China.
He's doing
to make sure
that work.
Yeah, to make sure that the rest of us don't have to. Thanks, Dan.
Exactly.
I really appreciate you keep an eye out for everyone there, mate. I really appreciate that. I know to avoid it now. Because I was wondering. But you saved me, however long that video may be, of my life. I'm going to go a few years after that, Magsy, actually, and I'm going to take the triple threat aspect of this match we've just watched as the link, and I'm going to do something that may be a bit controversial, but we did ask people on Twitter and so on if they would mind looking at a match from this individual, and everyone said no. So I'm just going to test the water, mate. I'm just going to dip my toe in and see how people feel.
Another win for Mags.
Yeah, most likely. I would like to go to one of my favorite matches, and that's the main event of WrestleMania 20, which was a triple threat match. And that's between one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, who had his working boots on this evening. He was very, very good. And sadly, Mr. Chris Benoit. Now, we all know how Benoit's life ended, and we all know that that's horrific terrible, disgusting actions and so on. So I don't want to be discussing or covering that, even though it may come up to a point. I want to look at the in-ring performance of WrestleMania 20 using the triple threat aspect of the two matches. So, yeah, to me, it's one of the best triple threat matches ever put on. Shawn Michaels, Benoit, Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship, the main event of WrestleMania 20 in Madison Square Garden. That's kind of where I'm thinking, Magsy.
That's it's a bold pick. I'm one of the kind of people who can decompartmentalize Benoit, the human, from the wrestling content that he did, because he was one of the best that ever wrestled. Yes, he did some absolutely abhorrent things, and we would never ever condone his actions or his mindset. But taking that part of the person out and focusing purely on the wrestling, he was one of the best wrestlers, technical wrestlers to enter the squared circle. So I would have no problems focusing on Chris Benoit, the wrestler, Chris Benoit, the talent, but Chris Benoit, the person, I cannot state enough. He was a monster. What he did was monstrous, and there will be certainly no condoning of his actions from us here at Chain Wrestling.
Exactly. And I'm exactly the same. I can kind of separate the two, mainly because I've got so many great memories of that time frame. 2004, I was a big Benoit fan. His Rumble win, this match, and then his singles matches with Triple H and Shawn Michaels and so on. His world title run. I do try and separate Benoit the wrestler to Benoit the person. And ultimately, that's the beauty of this show and the beauty of the concept of this show. If it's not something people are comfortable doing, vote for Mags's choice.
Exactly.
And there we go. If it is something you're okay looking at or okay hearing us discuss, fine. We can do that and we can have a look at a great wrestling match there. Both options are brilliant matches, to be fair. So I'm happy to go either way, Magsy.
Yeah, absolutely. Let the people decide.
Exactly. Okay. I suppose that brings this evening's antics, your little slice of wonderful chain wrestling Monday night delight, to a close, I guess. Very quickly, for anyone who may have missed it earlier or anyone who is wondering the details once again, 2 weeks' time, November the 1st, Monday, November the 1st, 9 p.m. UK time. What is it, 4 p.m. Eastern it works out as? I don't know what that is. Central. I'm so sorry.
I know the clocks go back soon, so they'll the time difference between us and the States will change for a little while. But
that's going to mess me up. That is when I'm writing the tweets and that.
I'll let you know when the clocks go back. we go from BST to GMT. So
yeah, okay. Our Halloween episode, Monday, November the 1st, is going to be a big, super duper spectacular, a Halloween special. Magsy and I will be in fancy dress. I hope everyone else will be in fancy dress for Halloween. We're going to be having a Halloween competition where you can win a one-of-a-kind Chain Wrestling Halloween 2021 champion t-shirt, as well as some other merch, a few badges, pop socket, loads of other bits and bobs, potentially key rings, all sorts of stuff. Lovely bits of Chain Wrestling merch available, but the t-shirt is not available. The t-shirt is literally a one-off, and then shortly afterwards we're going to be looking at actual Chain Wrestling merch coming out for people. But anyway, spread the word, share the tweets, get involved. 2 weeks to sort your costumes out, 2 weeks to DM the pictures in to @PodFatherMags, not the Chain Wrestling account. It's easier if you send them to Mags because I don't know how to make him appear on the screen and all this technical goodness.
Because he would literally just be holding up his phone and going, look at this one.
That is exactly what I would do. My good lady there saying, who's doing the key ring? All right, you.
No two ways about it. It is you. You're responsible.
My wife, honestly, I know I sing her praises a great deal, but I really want to stress this point. There's so much in recent weeks that Chain Wrestling has that she does behind the scenes. That you see the non-wrestling topic sign on Twitter, I suppose, the sort of typed out image, the logo with your non-wrestling topic on it. That's all my wife. Any merch and so on, my wife's having a big part in putting together and so on for us. She makes stuff. She's not only a talented writer, but she creates stuff with the epoxy resins and so on, phone holders, all sorts of stuff. Absolutely amazing. A brilliant, amazing, talented lady. I'm incredibly lucky, and I'm incredibly lucky that she's, you know, sort of behind the scenes on chain wrestling. Because I'll be honest, Maxie, half the stuff I wouldn't have bloody clue. You know,
same, absolutely same, mate. She's very much an unsung hero of this show, and we adore her for doing all the logistics, all the stuff in the background to make this bigger and better than we ever could have thought it'd been. And along with Sharon, I say week in week out, you guys in the chat, you guys on Twitter, you guys who watch on listen along back on the audio, you're amazing. You are absolutely amazing. You blow us away every week. Every single week it gets bigger and better. You always keep us entertained with your stories. You're an integral part of the show, and I really hope that you all get involved for Halloween, and we can give back a little bit to you guys for being so amazing from the start when we just did the audio to the nervous kind of jump to live audio, which you've had our backs. You're absolutely amazing. We massively appreciate you.
Yeah, 100%. I completely echo those thoughts. Maxie, where can everybody find you online, my friend?
Well, you can find me online down here. And if you're listening to audio, that's at Podfather Mags on the old Twitter sphere. In terms of content, I'm on Radiotecha's pretty much every show that they put out, because I am a whore for this channel. I'm a whore for this network. No, I absolutely love it. This team we've got gathered on Radiotecha's has been absolutely amazing, and there's so much more to come. I mean, you've got yours and Benny's project about Quantum Leap dropping very, very soon. I'm so excited about that. We've got Matt Willis with the volley. We've got the watch-alongs. We've got Ori and Ray and Chris all involved. Hopefully some stuff with young Conrad Newton coming up in the pipeline. It's an exciting time. So get on board with Radiotecha's. Definitely come and give us a sub. Hit that notification button so you don't miss anything from us guys. But yeah, you can find me on the Twitters. Give me a follow. I'll happily follow back and get involved.
Yeah, great stuff. You can follow me on Twitter at SJPWords. Most importantly, you can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. Not that I have any idea how that works, but we've got a TikTok. They're all exactly the same, at @chain_wrestling. Mags, TikTok, every time I go on it, it just seems like it's loads of girls dancing. I'm not objecting to this, you know, not lots of lasses dancing around. It's great stuff. But I'm assuming there's more to it than that, so I'm going to have to do a bit of research and look into it.
Aura is your go-to for TikTok and TikTok trends. She's
okay.
Or Josh Robinson.
Okay.
But yeah, it seems to be the new cool hip thing. I have a TikTok account. I don't think I've ever posted a video on there.
You mean there's no videos of you dancing?
I mean, I cannot dance, so there's never going to be any videos of me dancing. Definitely go and check out Chain Wrestling on TikTok if you into that.
Maybe that's where I can post the video of me eating a spoonful of butter and then trying the toast.
I mean, you could. That needs to be a thing.
Yeah. So there we go. Chain Wrestling at @chain_wrestling on TikTok, but also Instagram, Facebook, and most importantly on Twitter. We have a few people saying thanks for a great show again, guys. Thanks for another great week.
Thank you.
Honestly, thank you for coming. Thank you for tuning in.
We are just the mouthpieces. This is your show, so thank yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I'm off now to jump on eBay and order Magsy a One Night in China baseball cap. Mags, I'll speak to you next week, my friend.
I will wear that baseball cap. Bye-bye.